Welcome to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the annals of time, unraveling the complexities of human civilization. Today, we set our sights on the enigmatic Phoenicians, a people whose maritime prowess and cultural achievements left an indelible mark on the ancient world. As we delve into their story, you'll be transported to the sun-kissed shores of the Mediterranean, where the whispers of the past await our discovery. In the distant expanse of time, around 3000 BCE, the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia was abuzz with activity. The Sumerians, with their sophisticated cities and intricate systems of governance, had already begun to weave the fabric of civilization. Their innovations in writing, governance, and architecture would soon spread like ripples on a pond, influencing the development of neighboring cultures. As we wander through this ancient landscape, we find ourselves in the midst of a burgeoning world, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers nourished the cradle of humanity. As the centuries unfolded, the Akkadian Empire rose to prominence, its reach stretching from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean. Under the leadership of Sargon the Great, this empire's military campaigns and administrative reforms forged a unified state whose legacy would be felt for generations to come. The Akkadians' mastery of trade and commerce also facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas, laying the groundwork for the emergence of complex societies in the region. Meanwhile, in the eastern Mediterranean, the Egyptian civilization was flourishing, its pyramids and temples a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of the human spirit. As Egyptian merchants and diplomats traversed the seas, they encountered the enigmatic Minoans, whose palace of Knossos on the island of Crete remains one of the most fascinating archaeological sites of the ancient world. The Minoans' expertise in navigation, art, and architecture would later influence the development of Mycenaean Greece, as the cultural currents of the Aegean continued to ebb and flow. The Amorites, a Semitic people from the Syrian desert, began to migrate towards the Mediterranean coast, where they would eventually establish the city-states of Canaan. It is here, amidst the bustling ports and fertile valleys of Canaan, that we find the earliest stirrings of Phoenician culture. The cities of Tyre, Sidon, and Byblos, with their strategic locations and entrepreneurial spirit, were poised to become the hubs of a maritime empire whose impact would be felt from the shores of Spain to the banks of the Indus River. As the Amorites settled along the Mediterranean coast, their cities began to flourish, with Tyre, Sidon, and Byblos emerging as major centers of trade and commerce. The Phoenicians, as they came to be known, were masters of the sea, establishing a vast network of maritime routes that spanned the entire Mediterranean. Their ships, with their distinctive prow and stern, sailed to every corner of the ancient world, carrying goods such as purple dye, glass, and cedar wood. One of the most significant events in Phoenician history occurred around 1200 BCE, when they established a colony on the island of Cyprus. This marked the beginning of their expansion into the western Mediterranean, where they would eventually establish colonies in Spain, France, and North Africa. The Phoenicians were skilled metallurgists, and their discovery of copper and bronze on Cyprus helped to fuel their growth as a major economic power. As the Phoenician Empire expanded, they came into contact with other civilizations, including the Egyptians, Greeks, and Assyrians. In 950 BCE, the Phoenician king, Hiram I, formed an alliance with King Solomon of Israel, which led to a period of cooperation and cultural exchange between the two nations. The Phoenicians provided the Israelites with expertise in shipbuilding and navigation, while the Israelites shared their knowledge of agriculture and architecture. The Phoenicians were also renowned for their contributions to the development of the alphabet. Around 1000 BCE, they created an alphabet consisting of 22 characters, which was the first to use distinct symbols for distinct sounds. This innovation revolutionized communication, allowing for the widespread dissemination of knowledge and ideas. As the Greek historian Cadmus once said, "The Phoenicians, by introducing the alphabet, have given us a gift that will last forever." In 814 BCE, the Phoenician city of Carthage was founded in modern-day Tunisia, marking the beginning of a new era of expansion into the western Mediterranean. The Carthaginians would go on to become one of the most powerful nations in the ancient world, establishing colonies and trading posts throughout North Africa, Spain, and Italy. The Phoenicians were also skilled astronomers, and their knowledge of the stars and planets helped them navigate the seas with precision. They identified the constellation of Orion as a key navigational aid, using its position in the sky to guide their ships across the Mediterranean. As the Phoenician sailor Himilco once wrote, "The stars are our compass, guiding us through the darkness of the sea." As the Phoenician sailor Himilco once wrote, "The stars are our compass, live, guiding us through the darkness of the sea." This mastery of navigation and astronomy allowed the Phoenicians to maintain their dominance of the Mediterranean for centuries. However, by the 7th century BCE, the Phoenician city-states began to face increasing pressure from the Assyrian Empire, which had risen to power in Mesopotamia. The Assyrians, under the rule of King Ashurbanipal, launched a series of attacks on the Phoenician cities, seeking to expand their empire and control the lucrative trade routes. Despite these challenges, the Phoenicians continued to thrive, and their city of Carthage became a major power in its own right. The Carthaginians established colonies and trading posts throughout North Africa, Spain, and Italy, and their merchants played a key role in the development of the Western Mediterranean economy. However, by the 3rd century BCE, the Phoenician civilization was in decline, and the city-states were eventually absorbed into the Roman Empire. The legacy of the Phoenicians is still felt today, with their contributions to the development of the alphabet, navigation, and trade continuing to shape modern society. In modern times, the Phoenician heritage is still celebrated in Lebanon, where the city of Tyre has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The site features impressive ruins of the ancient city, including a Roman hippodrome and a monumental arch. Visitors can walk through the narrow streets of the old city, taking in the sights and sounds of a bygone era. The Phoenician legacy can also be seen in the many languages that have adopted their alphabet, including Greek, Latin, and Arabic. Their contributions to the development of the alphabet, navigation, and trade have left a lasting legacy that continues to shape our world today. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.